Welcome back to Loose Talk. Well, this is the week that people have been anticipating for a while, the week where Rick Santorum, the last remaining challenger to Mitt Romney, finally dropped out of the GOP primary, although a little bit earlier than most people were expecting, because it's another 2 weeks to go before the primary in his home state of Pennsylvania, seeing that he was probably going to face defeat there, as he has across the Midwest to Mitt Romney in the last few weeks. Rick Santorum pulled out this week, but he refrained in his suspension of campaign speech from endorsing Mitt Romney.
We made a decision to get into this race at our kitchen table against all the odds, and we made a decision over the weekend that while this presidential race for us is over for me, and we will suspend our campaign effective today, we are not done fighting.
There'll still be a primary calendar that goes on, as is always scheduled, till the end of June, and there'll still be two other candidates in this race, Ron Paul and Newt Gingrich. But for all intents and purposes, the general election now begins. That's where the focus will shift to, and that's where Romney is going to start spending his money. The fact that the evangelical wing of the Republican Party is still suspicious of Romney and hasn't yet fully got behind him, though, will remain a factor here. And so Rick Santorum's withheld endorsement does remain a factor for the next few days and weeks.
There's a lot of greatness in this country, and we just need leaders who believe in that.
Even before the ink on the newsprint announcing Santorum's departure from the race was dry, Mitt Romney was already, at least proverbially, measuring the drapes on the Oval Office behind me. The day after Santorum's departure, Romney announced that on his first day as president in January 2013, he would issue 5 executive orders and submit 5 bills to Congress, amongst which would be a big cut into corporate taxes, a new measure to brand China as a currency manipulator, and most interestingly of all, a waiver for any state that wants to opt out of whatever remains of Obamacare, the president's signature health care reform, after the Supreme Court has ruled on its constitutionality this coming June. As all this was going on, Barack Obama was stepping his re-election campaign up a gear this week, visiting what will once again prove to be the critical swing state of Florida, to deliver a set-piece speech proposing the so-called Buffett tax, which is named after Warren Buffett, and would impose a 30% minimum tax on those earning $1 million or more a year, those including, of course, his likely opponent, Mitt Romney.
Prosperity has never trickled down from the wealthy few. Prosperity has always come from the bottom up, from a strong and growing middle class.
But the main question really facing the Romney campaign is the degree to which he can wriggle out of the very strong commitments he made to the conservative base and to the right of the Republican Party during the arduous, mercurial and very expensive primary campaign. Our odd moment of the week comes from the now very comfortably retired George W. Bush, the last president, of course, who made a very rare public statement this week when he wished out loud in a speech in New York that the Bush tax cuts were named the somebody else tax cuts, because then people would be able to think rationally about them. And this reminded us of two things. First, that the Republican Party continues to try to forget the Bush administration, even whilst it's doing everything it can to unseat Barack Obama. And second, that George W. was the only significant Bush, remains the only significant Bush, not to have endorsed Mitt Romney.
And Barbara and I are very proud to fully and enthusiastically endorse and support our old friend Mitt Romney.
We'll see you next time on Loose Talk.